Welcome back to Double Down University. I'm back at you guys with another college basketball PrizePicks video. This is part 2. Part 1, I gave you just the early games, 2 picks for the early game. So in the afternoon slate, I really like Mitchell Saxon over 5.5 rebounds, Jordan Hawkins over 15.5 points, as well as Baylor Shireman over 8 rebounds. And so let's get into it. So the first one, Mitchell Saxon. So he has a great matchup today because he goes up against a VCU team that is a terrible defensive rebounding team. They are 303rd in the country in defensive rebound. So they get a lot of putbacks offensively, like offensive rebounds and putbacks. So I think this could help out Saxon a lot. And then they are not a big three-point shooting team. As you can see here, they are 35th in the country in three-point percentage, but they are 303rd in the country in three-point attempts. So they don't attempt a lot of three-pointers, only if they have to or if it's late in the shot clock. But also, St. Mary's holds a near proximity advantage and a mid-range advantage defensively. So they should be able to get a lot of short and long rebounds, especially Saxon in the post. The biggest thing is he just doesn't get in foul trouble. If he doesn't get into foul trouble, he should soar over this line because that's part of his game. But if we look at a little closer at his rebounds, so over the full season, he has a 79% hit rate for his rebounds at over 5.5. Last 10, he is a 70% hit rate and 40% over the last 5. But then again, two of those games are going up against Gonzaga, so those were very, very tough opponents for him, especially throughout the season. But this is my most favorite play of the whole day is his rebounds. Mitchell Saxon, just a great matchup for him. He should be able to dominate in this matchup. But keep in mind too that St. Mary's is a really, really slow-paced team. That's why a lot of their props are really, really low. So they look like they're, easy, but I just think this is a good spot for him. So that was my play of the day is his rebounds, Mitchell Saxon. But moving on to Jordan Hawkins, I'm going to keep riding Jordan Hawkins because he is an efficient scorer and he's the most consistent outside shooter on the team that's willing to take shots and actually make shots. Because everybody else on their team, like Andre Jackson, the Sinogos, and the Tristan Newtons of the world, they're not big shooters. Like, of course, you want to feed the post and get a ball to Sinogo, but he's not. Sometimes he scored 8 points or 9 points in the first half, and then he'll just disappear in the second half. But Hawkins is more of a perimeter threat to be able to score. With them, they have a big near proximity advantage in this matchup. UConn, but they don't have a mid-range or three-point advantage. But I'm not too concerned or too worried about that, because Jordan Hawkins is a big, aggressive wing, so he looks to try to drive and attack the rim. And as you can see, Iona, where my cursor is, they're 233rd in the country and defensive free throw attempt rate, so they foul a lot. So they should be able to get free throws in this matchup. So I really, really like that for Hawkins' points in that spot. So if he gives us, let's say, 6 or more points in the first half, he should be able to cover this in the second half. If he doesn't have 2 fouls or more, or doesn't have to sit a large portion of the first half in foul trouble. So I really like Hawkins in this spot as well. Last but not least, we're going back to my boy Baylor Shireman, just for the simple fact of, in this matchup is a good spot for him because NC State, they like to jack up a lot of threes and they like to shoot a lot of threes, which they have an advantage in this matchup. But most of their offense comes from dribble drives and dribble penetration, isolation ball between Joyner and Smith. So they're basically their lead guards, but they don't turn the ball over a lot. NC State, which is good because that could help out with rebound potential, because you can't get rebounds if the team is just turning the ball over, throwing the ball out of bounds, and things of that nature. So I really, really like his rebounds because of the 3-point potential of State. So if they don't hit their threes, then they're pretty much doomed as far as trying to keep pace with Creighton because of the post and Kalkbrenner and all the weapons that Creighton has. So let's go and look at his his numbers for, let's see, where are you? Baylor Shireman. Let's go to rebounds. Yep, total rebounds. So his line is actually set at 8, not 8.5. So for the last 30 games, or let's go full season. So full season at 8, just to push at 8, he's 61% hit rate. Last 5, he is 60%, just getting to 8. Or 60% of going over 8, as you can see, 13, 10, and 12. But the craziest thing of watching Creighton play, to me, which is mind-boggling, is you have a 7'1 center in Ryan Kalkbrenner, and this guy, Baylor Shireman, is basically their leading rebounder. As you can see, like, he's putting up crazy numbers. He's a guard, mind you. He's a guard, so he's putting up these crazy rebounding games. You could also play his PRA, as he's but I'm just not big on his shooting. Because some nights he'll be on and some nights he'll be off, and you can't really, you can't really rely on just his shooting. His rebounds is his only and most consistent prop. I think he's good for at least like 9 or 10 rebounds if everything goes his way. Assists, like, he doesn't really assist the ball too much, so I wouldn't really go PRA. I would just stick to just rebounds, because in this tournament, you want to stick to things that you know people do well in their niche and what they really do well. You don't want to go outside or veer outside of that player's strengths or what they're good at. So, and he's been doing this consistently all season. So we've been riding his rebounds all season. So why stray from it now when it comes tournament time? So I really, really like his rebounds at 8. I think he has the potential to get 10 rebounds in this matchup. So that is my third and final pick for the afternoon slate, and I'll go back over them with you guys. I have Mitchell Saxon over 5.5 rebounds, which is, as I stated earlier, my favorite play on the whole board. Is his rebounds. Jordan Hawkins over 15.5 points, and Baylor Shireman over 8 rebounds. Another lean that I like for the mid-afternoon slate too, and this all depends on foul trouble, as mostly every pick does, but Ryan Kalkbrenner, I really like his fantasy score. If he can play against State and not foul and actually be productive on both ends of the floor, he offers you block potential, not really steal potential, but more so block potential at the rim, especially with Burns, because he doesn't have too much of an offensive bag. Everything is back down. So if he doesn't get in foul trouble with Burns just baiting him into like back downs and fouling off of, not just being disciplined, he should be able to go over this fantasy score, because like I said, Burns doesn't really have too much of an offensive bag besides like a post up or post spin baseline, get to the rim, or get fouled. That's basically all his game really entails, or just get rebounds. So I really like Kalkbrenner's fantasy score in this matchup too, as well as just a lean for this game, as well as another thing I was looking at too is they finally put my boy Nike Sabenije, I think that's how you say his last name, but they finally put his let me see if I can find him for Pitt. Pitt, here it is. Nike Sabenije. I think he at least pushes with 9 points, so that could be a good look as well. If you like his you need something you could throw in his points. I like Lipsy, I should say, his assist at 3.5, but they bumped it to 4, so that could be push potential there as well. He's more of like a facilitator for Iowa State as well. Let's see, anything else that I left off? Actually, they actually just bumped Tarquavius back down to 15.5, so I really like that as well at 15.5, because he's going to shoot. That's one thing about him. He's going to shoot, especially if they get down by a lot. He will shoot a lot, so you could add him in there too as well. If that line stays the same at 15.5, I like that play as well. But I thought I seen it bump to 16, but maybe they just bumped it back down. So I really like that in that spot as well. Anything else I see on the board? Not really. I don't really want to touch on this Purdue game. This Purdue game is a wait-and-see game for me. It's a kind of do second half live, just based on how close the score is. If the score is pretty close, I would go with Edie's PRA, fantasy, or points, or whatever. Either one of those natures. But it just depends on his foul trouble, if he's in foul trouble or anything like that. So those are my afternoon plays for you guys. I appreciate you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and best of luck today.